and welcome to the Zoning Board of Appeals, July 20th, 2022. This evening, we're going to open our meeting. Do we have any announcements? We do have one announcement.
We
We would like to welcome Brandon as a full-time member or solicit a motion from the board to accept him as moving from an alternate to a full-time member.
I'll make a motion.
And do I have a second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
And
Aye.
thank you very much
Yes,
for
thank
being
you.
willing to step up and do that.
Welcome. Thank you.
Our board has been a little not inconsistent. We've been consistently here, but our membership, we've
Has
had
been
some
sparse.
illness, and we've had some situations, and COVID hasn't been kind to us in that realms for the last 2 years. So I'm glad we've got some stability. And we had a resignation of a long member, but that was for a good reason. He's due to have twins any moment now.
Anytime now, yeah.
Yes, so we'll forgive you,
Yes,
Brian.
for now. We'll get
For
them
now.
later when they turn 2.
Yeah, when they're, no, not 2, maybe 15.
Okay.
Anyway, so we'll hold you to that to come back, Brian. But you're missed for sure. Let's see, so we don't have any minutes from May 18th to review, so we'll
Correct.
catch that on the next meeting. And are there any other announcements or comments that we need to do before we open the meeting? All righty. So we have 2 hearings this evening. We have 2 public hearings, but before we actually get going, I need both applicants to realize there's only 4 members of the board right here, right now. And so any decision will have to be a unanimous decision where we need a super majority in order to go forward with decisions on this board. So you definitely have the right to request continuation until the next meeting if you want our 5th member to be here to make it a little bit more, if it's any contentiousness, it would maybe be in your best interest to have 5 members present. I'm not saying do it, but I'm just saying, it's up to you totally. So I just wanted to disclose that immediately. And also, I have to ask our board if there's anybody who would have a conflict of interest to hear either of these cases this evening.
No.
Okay, and myself is no also, and, because we're a quasi-judicial board. We go under Massachusetts general laws also, so it's a hearing, it's a public hearing for various variances or special permits or thus. Anyway, so that being said, we need to have a motion to open in 2 minutes.
In 2 minutes.
In 2 minutes, the public hearing. I think we could probably read the notice before. We could probably read the
Yeah,
notice.
I wouldn't see why not, just don't deliberate.
Sure.
Please.
Which one am I reading?
The first one, the Hale Street one?
Hold on, let me find it. The Hale Street one?
Yes.
All right, very good. All right, notice is hereby given that the Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, July 20th, 2022 at 7:05 PM to discuss the application for a variance submitted by owner Daniel Andrews for 14 Hale Street, also known as Assessor's Map 464, Parcel 56, Winchendon, Massachusetts, 01475. Variance request to allow for a 10-foot extension on the existing deck, creating a wraparound deck to include a screen porch within the 25-foot side setback per section 7.2 of the Winchendon zoning bylaws. Said property is located in an R80 rural residential zoning district.
Thank you. Would the applicants come forward? And in a minute, we'll open up the meeting. Is someone here for the Andres? Would you please come forward?
And sir, if you wouldn't mind signing in on that piece of paper there, I'll get you a pen.
Sorry, Simon.
Yep, just signing in.
Thank you.
And would you like to move forward with 4 members, or would you like to wait continue until next month and have the fifth member?
I'm okay with moving forward.
Okay, thank you. All righty, so do I have it's 7:05. Do I have a motion to open this hearing?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to open
I'll
the
second
hearing.
that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. All righty, so could you please state your name for us?
Daniel Andrews?
Thank you, and we have to swear you in. Do you swear that the evidence you should give in this matter shall be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. So could you tell us what you want to do? We see some plans.
Absolutely. So I have an existing 10 by 10 deck that's on the side of my house today. I've lived in this house for about 12 years, and the current deck is in need of repair, replacement. My preference would be to make it better than what it is today. As you can see in the plan, my neighbor's house, from where the deck extends to on the right side, I'm not extending any farther to her property line. It's going the same distance to her property line. What I'm asking is to move farther back towards the back side of my property line, extending it 10 feet in that direction, and then wrapping it around the house at that point. I would have a portion of it enclosed, and this would give me basically a nicer place to have on the side of my house. I do have a RDA already with the Conservation Commission, which you have on the screen there, and I have approval with them. So now it's just a matter of getting the approval with the zoning board.
Okay, so I see that the existing deck is the dark-colored one with the stairs?
Yes, correct.
Okay, and you want to make that a screen-in porch in the back side, so it would not be any closer to the property
Correct,
line.
correct. That line right there would not be any closer to my neighbor's house.
Huh.
And how much further back is it gonna go? I'm looking at.
How much farther back?
Yeah, how
10
much?
feet.
Okay.
And your property line is
It's
in
that
line with the...
PL. That's upside down to us, I think.
How far back does your property line go?
It goes pretty far back. So if you look at the RDA where they're asking me to add some plantings, that is towards the back side of my lawn. It extends roughly another 50 feet, almost, well, 25. I want to say that the line from the zigzagging line that goes by my house,
Yes.
like that kind of cuts through it, I believe that's the 50-foot marker for the conservation line. So I own a property that goes into the conservation line another 50 feet or so. So I have another setback of, I don't have it off the top of my head, but probably at least another 35 feet, 40 feet.
And Mr. Andrews is located in our 80 neighborhood, and the setback, the side setback is 25 feet, according to today's zoning.
And the current porch is within that,
It's 6 feet from the neighbor.
So it's already non-conforming, correct?
Yes, I don't know when that porch was built. I would have to look that up.
right.
Was your porch built as part of your home being built?
It was.
Okay, okay.
So that explains that.
So they're adding to the deck, which makes it more non-conforming depending on the situation when that deck was built, because there should have been a variance when that deck was built.
I would have to assume that the builder did take out a variance when it was built, but that part I'm not sure. The Conservation Commission and everybody else, I remember after we purchased the house, did come and take a look at the property line and everything and signed off on it.
Is this a parcel that was in that neighborhood commercial previously and then changed to R80?
Not sure.
I think it might have been when those houses were built. I think they were a different zone.
What year was your house built?
2009, I believe.
And in that case, the setback was only like 10 feet or 5 feet or something. It was ridiculously small.
I mean, it's at 6 feet in that,
Yeah.
so. So it's already non-conforming, and so your existing deck, you're really kind of just expanding that, and you said it needs some repair. Are you tearing down the whole old deck and
Yeah,
redoing everything?
I was planning on tearing down the whole deck and replacing it with that same footprint, 10-foot footprint, but just going for a little bit farther back.
It almost looks like the 6-foot mark is actually just that front point. Does it actually taper away from that line, or is it parallel?
It looks like it tapers away.
It looks like it tapers off a little bit, so you're actually bigger on the backside, which is a little better anyway.
Just for my own. Peace of mind, I would, you
So
said the
let's-
house was built in 2009?
Correct.
Just looking that up.
I just looked up the zoning in 2009. Can you get, I don't know if I'm online.
You should be able to.
Did you buy the house or build the house?
I bought the house. It was a
So-
new construction.
So it existed?
Yep.
Right, gotcha.
And this was the house that Bob Van Dyke built, correct? I think it was Bob Van Dyke built a few houses. on
Joe
that
Paul, I believe.
street. Okay.
I can't seem to get online. Hold on, Plan B.
Of course, it's not gonna work. Try to see if I can.
Let's see, Spring Street and,
Have you had any issues with any of your neighbors in regards to you building this?
No, I'm in good rapport with all of my neighbors, and my immediate neighbor, I'm in very good rapport. In fact, I often snowblow her driveway for her and everything.
it was planned development in 2009.
Okay, so it was PD, so it was probably 20 feet.
I bet it was less than that. It was like the same as downtown.
Let me,
What'd you find?
I think
It was all these highways things, town of Winchton. So River Street, plus all that stuff was.
you should
planned
be able to
development.
go into table 7.2 and to look to see what the setbacks were in PD then. Bless you.
There we go.
Got it?
You got it. I don't, zoning bylaws, 2000,
You said 2014 it was built?
for that. It was way back in 2009. Oh, see what it says in 2014.
So it was adopted in 2006.
It would have been 2006 one.
And it was amended in 2000, we don't have 2006 on here. But let's see what 14 says.
Well, I would imagine the zone is the same, even though they changed the districts. There we go.
There we go. Okay. So it was 20 feet,
Yep.
and then was amended November 8th,
Wait a
2007.
minute, except for residential, you're right.
Mhm.
Where are you looking?
So it was 20 feet back then, looking right where the 20-foot
Oh,
side
okay.
setbacks were.
PD except, okay.
So there would have had to been a variance for that then, when they did that, right?
More than likely.
Can we see that? Do we have
What
access
was
to
it?
that?
I'm thinking the PD
Just,
didn't have the
Didn't have the
family
three
residence, those
choices?
two choices after then. I'm thinking.
you think
'cause
it
I
just
was
had the
saying,
zero?
What? You can have it a 0-foot side setback?
Downtown, yes, yeah.
Right,
Mhm.
so, and don't quote me on that, but I think in 2006, or whatever it said, that first one, I think this was the change to make it a little bit more setback for houses.
That was the amendment adding that.
Right, it added it in 2000, whatever it was. Because I remember seeing some variances down in that development. We did a lot of site walks to see just how close things were back in that time frame. But that was one, I don't know. Regardless, I don't think there's a variance
Appears
on
that
that.
GIS is not working.
I don't think there's a variance on that property.
You think it was just,
And the house was built in, what did you say, 2009?
9.
It's far more than 7 years to make it legal, whether it was built legally or not legally for the zone. My guess is it was legal because it was planned development,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't go on that. But here we are today with a request in a parcel that clearly was planned development, now is R80. Different setback requirements, whether it was 20 or 25 or 0.
Yeah.
We got the deck at the same side. It's a very relatively big lot.
Right.
Moving it backwards, away from the street.
Right.
I get crazy when our zoning is back and forth so many times. So many applicants have to deal with changing zoning.
the only other thing, if you wanted to take a recess, I could go down and pull the building file for 14 Hale when it was built and take a look at everything.
And see if there was a deck on it.
Yeah, if you want to take a quick recess, I could do that.
Well,
do
it's
you
been
think?
there for 13 years,
Mm-hmm.
and it had to be financed, I'm sure, through the bank. So they had to have all that inspected at the time. So it had to meet whatever requirements the zoning had at that time.
And you said the deck was there when you bought it?
It may
Was.
not have been financed.
I'm just saying, I asked the gentleman.
Oh, well, he said it was there when he bought the house. Right? Yeah.
Correct.
Right, but if you didn't finance the house, then it wasn't inspected. Is that where you're going with it?
What I'm saying is that just because the deck was there doesn't mean it had to go through finance, which means that if it was done after inspection, it
Okay.
would just be a rogue deck.
Okay, okay, I got you.
I'm not saying that's the case, I'm just saying it happens sometimes.
What's the feeling of the board?
There's no issue with, are there any abutters here now? No?
And we have no information from,
If the deck is in disrepair, like, he's only improving the property. It's not becoming really any more non-conforming than it already is, 'cause it's already 6 feet away. I don't see an issue with it.
and not for nothing too, correct me if I'm wrong, Mrs. Higgins, but I understood that once something is built along a line, you can't go closer to the property line, but you can extend an addition along the
Stay
same
parallel.
line without going for a variance.
And like you said, Rob, it does look like it almost kind of
Yeah, I think it actually creeps further away, so it might even be 8
not by
feet
much, but
by the end of that. But, honestly, it's a deck in disrepair, it's gonna make it look better, it's gonna it's not gonna be out of context with the neighborhood, in my opinion. And it's been there the whole time, and the neighbor's not here complaining about it, so.
I would move to approve the
Okay,
permit.
let's make a motion to close the discussion. Do you have any other questions or comments?
I do not.
Okay, let's make a motion to close.
Make a motion to close the hearing.
and then-
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And then your second
Aye.
motion?
Aye.
To approve the,
I'd like to make a motion to
oh,
approve.
she made
the-
that,
oh,
she made it.
oh, okay.
He seconded it, and let's vote on that.
Aye,
And any discussion?
Not really, I think it's pretty straightforward.
yeah.
Alrighty, and the chair votes aye as well. In a case like this, it's a little confusing because of the change in zoning, because of the questions, and we're taking your word that the deck was built with the house.
And again, there's no abutters here,
There's
no
no
neighbors here
abutters.
too. There's no letters that were
So,
sent to town hall.
It has to meet the three criteria: size, shape, topography of the
Land,
land. It's a odd-shaped land with
Right.
conservation considerations.
Mhm.
The hardship would clearly be that it's changed zones over the history of the ownership
Right.
of the lot. And, the topography, the size is narrow. It's a long, narrow lot, and it has the wetlands things. And you can't put a deck and the addition any other place on the house and stay within,
That's really the only
Yeah.
spot.
so,
yeah, I agree, you can even see the land drops off too,
right, it does.
so.
Alrighty. So there'll be a 20-day appeal after we sign it. If any abutters do have a problem, they can contend it at that point. But you have your 4 votes, and the decision will be written sometime,
I can write
probably
it.
early next week. For signature, we have to sign it in. She turns it into the town clerk, and then it starts going. So their office will be in touch with you when you can start pulling the permits and doing what you need to do.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
So you're very welcome. Thank you.
you all. You're welcome.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
And meanwhile, back at the ranch, I'm gonna look up the 2009.
Enjoy your new porch.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
It's probably
night.
in my file cabinet, the paper copy. All right. Now, being as it is,
Well past 7:10.
7:23.
let's see, what are we doing next? It's Metcalf, and I don't see that on my folder. There it is. Is it over here? Nope. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Perfect, thank you. All righty. Would you like to read the second?
Sure
notice,
would.
Please, Rob?
Notice is hereby given that the Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, July 20th, 2022 at 7:10 PM to discuss the application for a special permit submitted by Pedro Soto Cruz, owner of 176 Metcalf Street, identified as Assessor's Map 7, Parcel 192, Winchendon, Mass. 01475. Special permit request is to operate a hydraulic repair home-based business. Said property is located in an R80 rural residential district.
Thank you. Could I have a motion to open this hearing, please?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. I think I heard him first, and you
I'll
second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. All righty. Would Mr. Soto Cruz and both of you come on forward? Thank you. Bye. And could you please tell us your names for the record and sign in? Thanks.
Michelle Kakuza.
Thank you.
Pedro Soto Cruz.
Thank you. And do you both swear to tell the truth
We do.
Thank you.
I do, yeah.
All righty, and once again, just restating that no one has any conflict of interest in this
Nope.
case. And also, I need to restate that we are required to have a unanimous vote tonight, or we have a fifth member who's absent today. You can continue it until we have the full quorum, if you please, or I need you to know that, you know, we do need a unanimous vote this evening.
We'd like to move forward, thank you.
Okay,
Yep.
all righty, very good, thank you very much. So could you please tell us what you want to do?
Sure. So we have a garage, and we own a split level, and we're looking to make part of the garage a hydraulic.
business.
A hydraulic.
It's a startup business, so my goal is to acquire accounts or customers. So it's just what I'm looking for is, in order for me to start, I need to establish certain certifications and tax ID and all the paperwork as I have a business.
Yeah,
so
we
then I
wanna
can
do it legally.
Establish a business with the people that I'm looking forward to establishing
Right.
business with. But it's not a thing that's gonna stay in a garage. It's gonna move forward towards another place, a bigger place, commercial zone. It's just a startup.
It's temporary, right?
So what exactly is the scope of your business? So what will you be doing at your home?
Hydraulic is, tractor has the hydraulic cylinder which moves the bucket. Those cylinders, that's what I'm looking to repair. They get disassembled, the seals get replaced. If there's any fixing of the piston or rod that needs to be fixed, I can do it in the garage, reassemble it, and send it back to the customer.
Are there any like tools or big power tools that are?
We have an air compressor, and we're looking to get a lathe and a vertical mill, but those two aren't any louder than our air compressor. And when you step out of the garage, you can't hear the air compressor. And we have, the doors will be closed and things like that. And Paige will be offering a pickup and drop-off service, so there'll be no heavy equipment, no traffic,
No customers coming
no
in?
customers, no signs, nothing like that.
So I know some hydraulic equipment can be pretty heavy. What kind of equipment are you gonna be using to, you said you're gonna be doing a pickup and drop
Well,
off?
the service is gonna be done, like the assembly of the hydraulic cylinders gonna be done in the field.
Okay,
And then the cylinders will get put in the trailer, which I will take home and unload, fix, and then
With a
return
gantry
to the,
crane.
Yeah, with a gantry crane. I've been doing it for a long time, and somebody else, I work in Clinton. The biggest cylinder I've worked on is like 300 pounds.
okay.
So they don't really weigh that much. And they're really no bigger than a motorcycle.
Okay.
The cylinder itself, you're saying?
Some cylinders, yeah. Cylinders itself, so much small. Like I have a backhoe tractor at home,
Yeah.
and the cylinders, you could literally the size of my arm.
Yeah, yeah. How much oil do you think would be in one of your larger cylinders?
That I have a friend of mine that has a business in
Yeah.
Leominster,
Yeah,
and he runs waste oil for heating his business.
Sure.
So he's going to be taking all the oil.
right, but how much oil is in a large cylinder?
Oh,
Say
and
somebody
in
drops
a
off
large
one of
in a
those-
large cylinder, like in a cat, I would say maybe like half a
Gallon?
Have a drum?
half a 5 gallon barrel. So about 2
Okay.
gallons, I would say, 2.5
Couple
gallons.
gallons, you're saying,
Yeah.
okay.
On a smaller cylinder, you're looking at
Yeah,
not even half a gallon.
Right.
Yeah.
so when you're storing it, what are you storing it in, 50-gallon drums?
We enclosed pictures of a barrel that we have specifically for oil. I don't know if you have that.
What's that size, though?
We have the
25 or?
spill cleanup kit.
The oil spill emergency kit, right? Is that 55 gallon? I don't know how many gallons that is.
Yeah, that's
55,
yeah.
Yep.
So,
That's just in case of any spills.
yeah, that's not storage, though.
Yeah, but where are you?
No, that's not the storage. There should be a picture there with the storage on, I don't think they're seeing it. This one's the storage.
I don't see a storage drum in the.
There's like a yep. On the right-hand side,
Yeah.
that's the storage. It's
Right
upside
there.
down.
It's upside
Sorry.
down, the picture's
That one?
upside down.
All right.
Yep.
So
That's a plastic containment for
No
the
lid?
55. The 55 goes in there, and that will retain any leakage from the 55-gallon barrel.
Okay.
If I might ask you, why can't you drain the pistons before they're brought onto the property?
At some, you can. Some, due to the high pressures when you're removing it from the equipment, you can't. The
Don't they,
the
doesn't that
liquid stays
automatically-
inside.
Doesn't it automatically drain out when you disconnect?
No. Well, it does, but I would still need to take that liquid home so then I could take it for disposal at my friends. I can't just drain it and leave it there in a.
No, I understand
Yeah,
that.
and once the oil comes out of the cylinder, you really can't put it back in the machine. It's contaminated.
Yeah.
Right.
They're very sensitive,
Yeah.
the seals.
How do you move that?
That doesn't weigh anything.
No, but
That-
once
When
it's
it's
full.
empty?
Oh, once it's full?
Yeah.
Once it's
With the entry crane
with the gantry crane, you grab it and put the bucket on the
on the trailer.
trailer.
So when the hydraulics are coming in, are they still under high pressure when you're bringing them into your garage, or the pressure is released once you take it off the equipment?
The pressure's released once you take it off the equipment.
Okay.
What's the weight of the hydraulic oil? How heavy is it compared to like what? Motor oil?
Oh,
Cooking oil?
I would say I would compare it to cooking oil,
Okay.
vegetable oil. Yep.
Now, you applied to the building I'm looking at a permit application through Office of Public Safety and Inspections. Now, who was that application submitted to?
Is it Jeff?
Oh, it was submitted to this town.
Do you have, so you said this will be a temporary thing, working from home, and you plan on expanding and getting some commercial space somewhere. Do you have a time frame for that?
Less than 5 years,
Okay.
2 to 5.
Yeah.
My company that I work at, we have like oil containment, it's almost like a skid. So it's like I got a picture of it right here if you want to look at it, but it's like a skid with a screen top on it, and you sit the barrel right on top of that, so it contains anything. That's something that I think would probably be useful for you in this situation, so that, I mean, that's just a bucket, so anytime you're around that, you could be spilling off the sides, but this is literally the size of a skid. That'd contain a lot of stuff, so that might be something worth considering.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, I can acquire one.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know
Yeah.
exactly what
Yeah.
you're talking
Yeah.
about.
I think that'd be a good
Okay.
thing. It might even give the neighbors some ease of mind, knowing you've got a pretty
Fair
good
enough.
containment device there.
Yeah.
It's reasonable.
So do you have proposed hours of operation for your business?
Probably 7 days a week.
Okay.
But I'm not sure if we're going to offer emergency services. We haven't gotten that far. We're working with New View in Fitchburg, and they're helping us do our business plan and get us financing and things like that. And this was the next step. So we haven't really gotten that far.
Yeah.
Often, home businesses run into considerations with the neighbors, like, they don't mind how long you work, as long as there's no spotlight shining into the into the neighbors' yards, and no cars coming in and dropping off things in the middle of the night and 3 AM, testing motors.
Yeah,
and,
no.
You
none
know,
of
you know
that.
what I'm trying to
No.
say.
I do, I
mean,
absolutely do,
So
yeah.
this is a little different scope. If you're in your garage with the doors shut and no outside lights on, working quietly at 2 o'clock in the morning, there will be no evidence outside the
Correct.
building that you're doing that.
Correct.
Unless the compressor's big enough and loud enough,
Right.
kicking on and off, that might
Right.
bother people, so.
No, but I don't,
Our
at night,
closest neighbor, if you walk out of our garage and walk towards our closest neighbor, you cannot hear the compressor when it's running,
Yeah,
if the doors are closed.
okay. What's the maximum oil you'd be storing at any given time there? Clean and or
nothing
used?
more than 50, than a barrel. And I tell you, once a barrel's like a foot off the top, I'll be draining
So
it.
one barrel, you'll have one waste barrel and then
I'll be
one
getting 2
replacement?
barrels, yeah, that way when,
Rotate.
rotating.
What about, do you fill them there? Fill the cylinders there, or do you bring them on site to fill them?
To refill them.
To
Like,
refill them.
Once it's empty.
You just
No,
hook them
once-
up empty and then,
And repaired, and you, in other words, to pack the new cylinder with,
No, they will go back to the customer empty.
okay, right, and then they handle that.
Yeah.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
yeah.
so lighting, signage, you said no signage?
None.
None.
No lighting. We don't need anything additional on the house or anything like that.
Does anyone else have any other questions? Well, I mean, any kind of business operation, also, it's not in the purview of us to tell you what you, I mean, even, it's informational how you store the waste oil and take care of the waste oil, but that really isn't under our umbrella. That's under Conservation Commission, Board of Health.
Sure.
Department, DEP, Environmental Protection, all these other agencies, have strict guidelines. So, I mean, we can't tell you to do something that's outside of our
Sure.
umbrella. But
That's fair.
We're
We just wanna-
asking information just for our, just to satisfy the neighbors and
Makes
everybody.
sense. Exactly right.
The abutters. We want to know these questions. We can't regulate outside of our regulations.
Sure.
What we can do.
Right. Just
Understood.
advice.
What we can do is noise, traffic, signage, parking. Hours of operation is always another one, too. What's the earliest you would start working in the morning?
8,
But it's illegal,
yeah. Probably 8,
what, yeah.
Okay. And what's the latest you would work at night?
6.
Okay.
6 to 7 would be our latest.
Would it be reasonable if we were to move forward with a permit to say that you would, normal business hours would be 8 AM to 6 PM?
Absolutely.
And it would be reasonable to say no additional outside light?
Yep.
No spotlights or,
I
no,
think too, if the air compressor's running or you were running any heavy equipment in the garage, I would, the door I think would need to be shut.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
and no signs?
No signs.
None, okay.
And no on-site vehicles
No
coming to the
parking,
house.
right? I'm sure you have a business vehicle of your own to pick up.
Well,
and-
I'm gonna be using my personal truck.
Okay,
Yep.
with-
And we have a trailer,
with
but
the
there's no
trailer
signage
attached.
or
There's
anything
no
like that.
signage on it, yeah,
So pickup and delivery only?
Correct.
Okay.
yeah.
so you will not have anybody coming to the house? I mean, these days and age, so many people are having like Amazon trucks and UPS and FedEx and everything coming in and out of every single residence in the world.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Or to pick up antiques, stuff like that. Other people's houses, yeah, definitely.
Well, there's a lot of deliveries and things
Yeah.
going on in the world because of the way things have changed. I don't know what's reasonable. If you do have a delivery, say by Amazon or FedEx or whatever, it would definitely be during the business hours,
Fair
so
enough, yep.
no additional, I think we could regulate no additional
Late night
late-night
deliveries.
deliveries.
That's fair.
Well, I see FedEx though and UPS, they do deliver
Yes,
I've had
to
them
my house
show
at
up
8
at 8
o'clock
o'clock.
at night.
Yeah.
I know,
So
so let's.
Not much later than that, yeah, but I have seen that as
we're
well.
on Sundays.
Let's leave that off.
Yeah, because it is unpredictable with their deliveries, so.
In other words, though, you're not gonna have any vendors coming to your door
No,
recent,
absolutely
you know,
not.
like,
No vendors, no, I'm not selling anything other than what
Okay.
I'm-
Are you getting any large shipments,
Like
parts,
seals?
like coming in, I'm talking like on a pallet getting delivered on a
No.
truck,
Oh,
nothing
no.
like
No,
that?
no,
No.
no, no.
No.
They're just like rubber seals, they're
There's
small.
little seals, yeah,
Rubber
they
seals.
come like in a, one of those bubbled envelopes.
Yep,
So pickup and delivery would be off-site.
yep.
And there'll be no work done outside, it'll all be contained in the garage?
In the
All
garage.
in the garage.
okay, also, probably outside of our scope of regulations, but, being as it's oil in a residential thing, what about the fire department and, smoke alarms, fire alarms, and all that stuff, the like of that? Does your homeowner's insurance, will you carry commercial insurance for this part of the?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so.
Yes, that's
I'm
part of our
gonna-
business
I'm
plan.
gonna assume that the commercial insurance is gonna regulate that smoke alarms, fire alarms,
Right,
carbon
Fire
monoxide
hydrant, yeah.
alarms, and all that other stuff.
Extinguishers,
correct.
yes.
So we have a
Okay, I'm not gonna
fireproof-
assume, but I'm gonna say you must comply with your
Okay.
homeowner's your commercial insurance.
Right, our decision would be contingent on everything else being in compliance with all of the other departments.
Right.
And we'll
And like
put
we
that in
said,
there.
we are working with New View, so then once we get through this process, we can proceed to the next stuff, because,
And it all has to be regulated for
Yeah.
them because they're grant funded, so it all has to be on the up and up, everything has to be
accordance with the law.
according to law, exactly.
Okay, that I think is my last, my last big question of the day. Does the board have any other questions for the applicant?
No, just that the hydraulic oil is probably, it's not a question, it's a comment. Hydraulic oil is probably one of the cleanest oils you're going to find. It has to be immaculate.
Yes.
So there's no problem with exposing it to anything because it's basically harmless,
That's right.
just for information.
Like cooking oil, mineral
Like
oil?
cooking oil, that's
Yeah.
right.
That's why you can burn it for heating oil.
Yes.
It's my only comment.
Okay, thank you. Do you have anything?
I would like to make one comment. I would say, best of luck to you. There's a lot of abutters that, aren't necessarily excited about this, but I would definitely suggest that, make sure you guys aren't making a lot of noise and make sure you're keeping it in the garage, no exterior lighting,
That's fair, that's
Definitely.
fair. I mean,
Right.
there's more
I-
business, I think, going on next door, and, around the corner, there's a daycare, there's more traffic with that. You know what I mean? So there really isn't, this isn't going to add to anything.
Okay, so before we close the hearing, we have to acknowledge the fact that we have a petition from the neighbors, from the abutters. And would someone like to come forward and represent the neighborhood? Sure, come on down forward and state your name for the record, please.
Juanita Carter, 166 Metcalf Street.
Thank you, hi.
Pedro, could you please give her the signage?
Hi.
My name's John Egan, John Egan, 166 Metcalf Street.
Okay, thanks, and please sign in, and would you swear to tell the truth? About your testimony is the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. All righty, so who wants to go first?
I guess I'll go first.
Thank you.
First off, I just want to start by saying, me and my wife, we've lived here for almost 21 years now. We love the town of Winchington. It's a great town. We live in one of the most peaceful neighborhoods in town, just off of 202, just off of Main Street. Our development was called Sandy Heights. If anybody is familiar with it, Sandy Heights is considered Chase Lane, it's considered Krantz, Metcalf, Phyllis Drive, and a couple of houses on Royalston South. Our neighborhood is very quiet, very peaceful. We border the National Forest. Out of our back door, we can walk to Lake Denison, and we can fish and walk to Otter River. We have wetlands at the top of our street on Krantz, and we have wetlands coming down on Metcalf Street. Just bear with me. Me and my wife are here, along with my daughter. She's 19. She was born and raised here. She's only lived in our house. She loves the town of Winchton. She has 3 jobs. She works in the town of Winchton. She also works at Mount Wachusett, and she works at Glenwood. The reason why we're here is we oppose the special permit by Mr. Cruz, and we're here not on just our behalf, but on the behalf of all our petitioners.
Are we allowed to see the list of petitioners?
Absolutely. You can
It's
just-
submitted to us, so.
Excuse me?
It's public record. Nicole can probably pull it up on the screen,
What's that?
the
The
list.
If they want a copy, there's right here.
The petition? Yes.
Am I all set?
Yeah.
Like I said, our neighborhood is very quiet and very peaceful. The kids on Halloween come to our neighborhood from other neighborhoods in town that live on main roads. They come to our neighborhood because we have streetlights and we have sidewalks. It's perfect for families. Most of the people that live there have families and have raised their families there. The main reason why we're opposing this special permit is because Mr. Cruz, this is his 3rd time trying to start a business out of this property. Okay, this is the first time he's tried to do it legally. First time was shortly after they moved in. They started an auto body business. Mr. Cruz is a
not
professional
true.
mechanic. He has air tools, compressors, anything that you can imagine that a professional mechanic has, he has. When they started the business off, the auto body business, it was done in the driveway. It was done not only by him, but 2 of his friends. Okay, we put up with it for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks possibly. We have 3 brand-new cars. We have a property that we really respect and take care of. It's really a nice piece of property. I went over to Mr. Cruz's house to say to him, as a neighbor, and not to come to the town first, I went to Mr. Cruz and I said, "What you're doing is illegal. Please stop." I didn't speak to Mr. Cruz, or, I don't know your name, sorry. I spoke to one of his workers. The next day, me and my wife were served with a no trespass warning from Mr. Cruz. From that point on, we've never spoke to them ever again because we don't want to go to jail. She's never encountered the police. I haven't encountered the police in over 30 years. We stopped dealing with them. Went straight to the town. Town had to stop their auto body business because they were doing full clips. When I say auto body business, I'm saying full clips. The full front clip, the full rear clip, grinding and sanding, all the professional tools that you need to do an auto body business. Was not done in the garage. Their garage was full of stuff. Their garage was full with a Dodge Magnum that's unregistered. It's in their
Okay.
garage, that's fine.
So, we're not here to listen to all the stuff that's happened
The
in the
history.
past, the history.
Right.
We're here we're not the court, we're not the police, we're
Right.
not the building inspector. We're the zoning board of appeals. We have an application in front of us to consider a home-based business. It makes me sad for both parties that two decent, hardworking families have to live side by side and can't get along. It sounds like there's a history of bad blood between both of you. And we can't take into, I mean, I
That's not
suppose
us.
we could, that's not what's on the table tonight.
Right.
What's on the table tonight is, we have no jurisdiction over what's happened in the past.
Right.
We can consider what you're saying, but, I mean, seriously, we have no you showed me a certified letter. You know, we don't know the history of all that stuff, and
Right, all we-
quite frankly, it's not in our
All we
purview
can
to
look at
consider.
is what's being presented to us tonight for this particular business. If there was other things in the past, it's really not under our purview to do or speak to or even have anything to do with, right? Because that's not us. Everyone's got their past, we can't control that. This is just about this particular situation, right? So that's kind of where we're at with
In
that.
a
So
way,
if-
I'm kind of thankful that if there's been a history of things happening in somebody's backyard, they're trying to make it right now by coming to the board and spending money and getting a business plan approved. So, I mean, you as abutters and neighbors have a lot more power if it's a legally approved business with everybody knowing what's going on the table. I'm sorry you've had to deal with your past. I truly am. I understand how neighborhood things get going, I really do. But in fairness to the applicant tonight, we really have to look only at what's on the table tonight.
Right, and so what I would say is that if you want to speak to that, let's do that, and not bring up a lot of the history there,
So,
that's not relevant.
exactly. So
Right.
do you have any
That's fine.
concerns about what they propose to do?
My only
going-
concern was, you know, the fact that, you know, you say that he's gonna have the garage door closed when he does his work. Well, when he did his work before, the garage door was never closed, and they did it in the driveway. But we won't get into that. Our major problem is
I know we're zoned in R80 in a rural residential neighborhood, and what he's asking for is to operate a commercial licensed business in a residential neighborhood.
That's
So
why we're
that's one
here.
of the concerns, because it does open up, I think, like anything, windows for other people to apply to get special permits as well in their particular neighborhoods, because they'll say, it does, it just opens the door for other neighborhoods who don't necessarily want a commercial business of hydraulics in their neighborhoods or auto body.
Well, just so you know, just to answer your question, our zoning does allow, by special permit in that zone, things like even small engine repair, motorcycles, anything, any small home-based business that could be enclosed in a garage or a barn. We've done permits for chainsaw repair things, even auto body in somebody's garage at their home-based business. So we've approved numerous, and they allow that in this town. So
And if I'm
I
not
was having a
mistaken,
discussion with some other people now too, during the pandemic. I've been one of those workers that's been working remotely for 2 years.
Yeah.
Does that make my home a home-based business? Because I'm earning my money behind my computer sitting at my house. There's no evidence that I'm working from home, but I am. It's a home-based, I mean, it's a business. And other people are doing similar things right now too. I know many of the town hall things, and it's not as big and loud as like a lawnmower or a chainsaw or a small engine repair place also, but our town does allow it, our state does allow it, so
isn't there a construction closed business somewhere on that, in that area?
That lot, 193, has a special permit for a landscaping company. The lot, 242, has a special permit for a construction company. The lot, 823, is a daycare center. There's a house up the street that's not on that map. It's registered, has an electrical company.
Right, so, right, that's kind of what you were just speaking to.
But do those businesses increase the noise level? I don't see the construction company doing the construction in our neighborhood. I don't see the electrical person doing the electrical in our neighborhood.
And
The
what-
childcare's always been a part of the neighborhood since I've lived there for 22 years,
And you don't need a special permit for childcare.
and you don't need a special permit for childcare. The taxi company is never there. He doesn't drop people off in our neighborhood, he drops people off in different neighborhoods. And when it comes to the pandemic, I'm an essential worker, so I have not been able to stay home to be employed. I work evenings, I work days, I sometimes work nights. So in terms of the traffic or the time that they're doing their business out of the garage, isn't always conducive for someone like me. And in terms of, they say it's going to be quiet, I don't know, but just to bring up a quick past issue, because I'm at least talking in all fairness to hear me speak, is I know at one point when you first moved in, they brought in alpacas or llamas, I don't recall. It was the same time we got this letter, and they said they had asked the town about having the llamas or the alpacas. I was like, oh, okay, really? Yes, we did. I'm like, well, I'll find out on Tuesday after Columbus Day. They mentioned the alpacas needed rescuing. I said, well, that's nice, but it doesn't mean they get to live there. The alpacas were right next to my property line. They now have a fence up, thank you. But I didn't want to go out in my backyard and see alpacas' butts in
Okay,
poop.
but again, so we're doing
But
what
I'm
we just
speaking
did.
to the fact that they're not always truthful. 'Cause
So,
they didn't
so,
go
okay,
to
so
the town.
I was actually gonna say that going through us, we can set contingencies for things that have to exist. So the public, the neighbors and the abutters will have a recourse when things are not being met. So they're gonna have to be toeing the line with the stuff that they wanna do, because you guys are gonna be watching, right? So, and so that's what I would say, is that they do what they have to do, and you guys, you know,
Do what you have to do.
do what you have to do to make sure that they're doing what they have to do, and that's what I would recommend in that scenario. That I can't tell you that they're gonna do whatever they're supposed to do, and I can't say that you're not gonna report something that didn't happen, but you kinda hope that for both parties, right? So that's kinda where we're at.
Can I bring up an issue? Our major issue is the size of these cylinders that he's gonna bring in. Tractors, backhoes, he mentioned Cat, okay? Cat cylinders, okay, which he told the building inspectors he's gonna carry in on his shoulder, okay? Well, you know what a Cat cylinder looks like?
Yes, I do. as a
Yeah.
matter
Okay,
of
you know how
fact.
much oil's in a Cat cylinder?
Pardon me?
How much oil's in a Cat cylinder?
Yeah.
What happens if that oil explodes in that cylinder and goes all over his garage, all over the driveway, into the grass?
Well, so.
When we're,
Right, and that's his responsibility to handle that, but also when he disconnects those hydraulic fittings, the pressure's gone out of that. So, I don't know if he's gonna
look at that tub,
cap them?
that plastic tub.
There's less than
Is that
50
acceptable for hydraulic oil?
Well,
A
that's
plastic
why-
tub like
that's-
that?
That's why I suggested they should
You
do,
mentioned, yeah, you mentioned them, I mean,
You know,
that's what
so-
he's,
So we
And
also
again, that-
said that we don't, that's not our purview to say what containment systems he
Right.
has to do. If we grant the permit, then he will have to follow all state and federal guidelines, as well as guidelines from his insurance company that are stricter than anything
That-
us as non-experts
right.
in that field. We cover zoning. You're in a butter with concerns about the wetlands and the water, as I would be also if something was happening. But if us as a legal, quasi-legal board do end up granting this, we will stipulate that they must follow state,
Right.
local, federal guidelines regarding the handling of waste oil and oil in these hydraulic systems, and must follow their insurance company regulations and must follow their loan regulations as well. So it's not just us saying, hey, do the right thing. It's
Right.
do the right thing, and this person and that person and the other person are gonna be making sure and following up.
Right.
Coming for a permit is not just like saying, bye-bye, see you later. We also can say, she did mention that this is a 2 to 5 year plan. We do have Outlook calendars right now that we can pull this back. We can say, hey, this is granted for a year or two. We want to see where the business is. Have you had any complaints? Have we had any violations? Do we have any information? Do we need to reconsider conditions? Is the compressor causing a noise thing for an essential worker so she can't sleep at night when you come in? You know, these are the type of things that, you know, we could do to try to mediate some of this.
Because ultimately, we want Winchendon to prosper and be nice. We don't want big oil spills all over, but we want people to
None
be
of
able to
us want
survive
to.
and
I
do
mean,
things.
I live beside Lake Menominee. I do not want anything
Right.
Right.
polluting my lake. And I love Lake Denison and Birch Hill and
I live
Otter
right near
River.
Denison, I feel the same exact
You know,
way.
we all do. We don't want our town ruined. We really don't.
If you
So
go-
But
that's-
it's our job to make sure that, you know, we follow the zoning bylaws, we follow the laws that are there, and that we keep neighborhoods in harmony. And
Right.
It's
Zoning
really, it really
bylaws.
is unfortunate that it's gotten to this point.
If you Google hydraulic businesses, the three that are around here are in commercial and industrial settings. It's not a type of business that should be in an R80 zone business, especially the type of neighborhood that we're in.
I'm going to just hold you off on that too. One other question right now. Will you have any additional employees in this proposal?
Nope.
Just you two?
Yes, and we have abutters here as well that are actually here for us.
Okay, well, as soon as they're done, we'll,
Just wanted to let you know.
sure, thank you.
Sure.
Can I present this to you guys, just so you can look at it? It's highlighted, and there's a star that's just the important
What
stuff.
is it?
It's nothing major.
It's your
right off your
bylaws.
bylaws.
What are you referencing?
It's right off your bylaws.
What's that?
Winchendon?
Yeah, the Winchendon bylaws.
Oh,
What section are you referencing on
Zoning.
that? We can pull it up.
I'm referencing 4.3, 4.4. It's all highlighted. 6.5,
Right, we're
A,
looking
B,
at
C,
Have that.
and D.
We have it all. That's our
We've reviewed it.
guidelines. We
Yeah.
reviewed it before the meeting and,
right,
Okay, it's just our major concerns.
sure. And they're fair. I mean, you want to make sure that those lines are towed and that
I mean,
those
and-
things are followed.
I just want you to know, also, we hear you. We understand where you're coming from. I mean, thank you for coming and speaking up because, you know, it's your neighborhood as well.
That's what this is for.
But the purpose of zoning board is not to mediate neighborhood
Disputes.
No, but it's to follow the zoning bylaws that you have in place. And my husband's pointing out, there are bylaws in place for the zoning that
You won't even
they
look
want a
at 'em.
special permit for. And
So special permit allows us to permit
A home-based business.
in that zone.
Certain home-based businesses.
And if you look at the wording, it says, such as not to be limited to,
Everything's highlighted.
it says not to be limited to,
So it gives
we're in
examples. but-
wetlands area, we're in national forest area.
they're not within the wetlands
They're about-
buffer.
No, but the
30 feet
top
away.
of our neighborhood is zoned wetlands, even I know some
understand,
others.
but they're not close enough for it
Particular
to-
Property, I mean, it could spread to the wetlands conceivably, I'm sure, but they would have to go to Conservation Commission if they had a wetlands in their backyard.
Right, all we
I'm
can
not
do is
against
grant
anyone
it.
owning a business, I'm not. But I think where should the business be? There's plenty of empty spaces up in the center of town. Why are those not filled?
Wow.
Where it would be a more appropriate type of business to have more closer to the center in town, where you can have commercial and residential all together.
Sure, I not disagreeing there, but he did say it's a startup out of his house, so he doesn't live there. That's what I would assume as to why it's not there. know,
Again, it's a startup business, 2 to 5 years, and the zoning board can put conditions on the special permit and revisit it in a year, and, you know, and again, it's up to you guys to, you know, just like they have to do their job and follow the rules. If they're not, you guys can definitely,
But doesn't that continue the problems that supposedly between
It
neighbors?
just turns us into the police, and
It
then we
turns
don't
us-
want to be.
The police and the complainers, if something happens?
but to be
You gotta
honest with you, I don't
understand
think
our point,
whether
that's
this
all.
happens or not is gonna solve any of the neighbor problems, right? Is that fair?
I know.
Definitely not, no.
But we also did
Once we were
get,
served with a trespass warning, it was all over.
So again, so that's why we don't get into that part, because it doesn't, it's
That
not
was
us.
2 months after they moved in.
We're not going there tonight. We're
Okay,
talking
that's
about
fine.
what we're dealing with specifically
no, but we do
now.
have petitioners who understand that we don't know what kind of business it was going, and hydraulics is commercial, and they also like it to be a peaceful neighborhood, because there's also elderly people there too, and they couldn't come to this meeting
Petitioners
tonight.
are residents of that
They are
area?
residents of
Are they-
Sandy
Yeah.
Sandy
Sandy
Heights
Yes,
and,
abutters.
and/or friends that come to our house, but they are all Winchton residents. Most of those petitioners are from Sandy Heights. And my
I
daughter would like
see-
to speak, if
From what
that's
he said
possible.
earlier, Phyllis Street, Metcalf, Krantz, and Chase. I see Teal Road, I see Hale, Eagle, Royalston, Spring,
Those are
Webster,
fronts.
Lincoln, Front,
Concerned
Royalston,
residents.
Royalston, Lincoln Place. So, no, they're not all in our neighborhood.
No, I'm aware of that. I
No,
also know
she
that
said
there's
that.
41 signatures on this, and 22 of them are not direct abutters. They're from all over town. So I think, you know, you have to kind of, I understand what you're saying. I run my own business for many, many years, and you have to be considerate of what's going on. Find a way to make this work. Put up a fence. Do something. Put up a buffer area. Plant trees. Do something in there that will appease you and make it workable for them. It's not unheard of.
If they start that business, they have to put up a fence, right?
No, not
No, they
necessarily.
don't.
No. And again, here's the deal. If they're not doing what they're supposed to do, then you guys have recourse, right? To report them and to do that, right? So they're gonna wanna be extra careful not to bother you people or any of the other abutters, right? So, and if they are, then that's your option to be able to do something about that. And then I don't know what happens after that, but you have to go through that process, right? People just can't never do anything because someone else doesn't want them to do it, right? So if it falls within acceptable guidelines, and that's what we're here to help try to figure out, that's what we're gonna do, right? And so that's kind of where we're at. We just have to agree to disagree on some things and still live your lives and move on, that's all. You know, you have to just make sure they're doing what they're supposed to do.
Do
That's
you
it.
have anything else there's several other people in the room that might
My
want to
daughter would like to speak.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
thank you.
Hello.
Could you please sign in and say your name?
Haley Carter Eakin.
Thank you.
Hi. My biggest concern is just like the noise.
You gonna swear her in or anything?
Just speak into the microphone a little bit
Oh,
more.
sorry.
A little back towards you.
We need to swear her in.
Oh, yes, can you please swear to tell the truth?
I swear to tell the truth.
Okay, thank you.
As I said, I work many jobs, and in between my shifts, I come home to sleep. And even with like the fan on in my house, I can like hear their cars start. So my biggest concern is just like the noise, because if I can hear like their cars start, like when they power up the hydraulics, I don't know how it works, but
A hydraulic tube is like a big, long cylinder. There's oil in it up to like maybe not even 5 gallons for the biggest one.
No, you
Even
said
those
about 2.5.
Caterpillar ones are probably only 6 or 8 feet tall and maybe this big around. My dad was a heavy construction
Yeah, but I'm
equipment
not,
operator.
not coming close to those.
Yeah.
Right, so they don't power up hydraulics in the shop. They're gonna be taking these little tubes apart, and like if the if the cylinder rods are bent or warped, or if the rings are worn out because of all the wear and tear, they're gonna be replacing like the it's not ball bearings, but it's rings and seals and repacking them and straightening out something that's bad. So there's nothing equipment-y except maybe a compressor to help pull things apart.
Yeah, that's just the only concern for me personally is like, even like with the garage door closed, like my window, like when you look at the house, my window is like right at the edge of the house and then their garage is right there. And like with my window open, I can hear a lot of things.
Yeah, that's part of life.
Yeah, that's
you
part
know,
of
so
life,
that's
yes.
kind of tough. Like,
But I just wouldn't want it to be like loud or,
I
Sure.
don't
Than
think
it
it would
already
be any louder than what's currently in the
would-
neighborhood with lawnmowers and dirt bikes
Sure.
and chainsaws and weed whackers and all the
And-
things.
other people even have air compressors with their garage doors open, and they do things too. So those are natural things that you're gonna deal with anyway. Even if they moved out of there, there's still gonna be noise in your place, and even the new people would be noisy too, you know? So there is a certain amount that you're gonna have to live with, and that's kind of that.
So
yeah,
I
that's
don't
it.
think, I think your concerns, I mean, they're valid, obviously. If you're working 3 jobs, I admire you, and, you know, trying to sleep and all that stuff, I do. But the scope of this particular business of taking apart something that's not it was part of a machine, obviously, but the machine is elsewhere.
Right.
The component is off, and, you know, some of the cylinders are probably only the size of,
Shock of a car,
yeah,
really. Yeah.
yeah.
all right, that's it, thank
All
you.
right,
Good on you for having 3 jobs, so.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Do we have any other abutters or concerned neighbors or people here to speak for or against?
Looks like a no.
It looks like a no. All right.
Okay.
I just want to preface, thank you for coming, concerned citizens.
Yeah.
We always value, I mean, this is your town too, this is our town, and I just want to also say, we're volunteers. We're short a member. If you're concerned about things that are going on zoning-wise, step up and volunteer. Please make your voice known so that we can follow the laws. We're not here to tap dance around the laws. We're here, I mean, I've been on this board on and off for quite a number of years, and more than I care to acknowledge right now. But therefore, we're pretty knowledgeable about what Mass General Law and the town of Winchendon allows and doesn't allow. And quite frankly, knock on wood and whatever, we've come up with reasonable decisions that haven't been contested in court most of the time. We do have some decisions that I regret signing on the dotted line because people haven't been honest with us, and I'm not saying that you are or aren't, but when people come and say they're gonna do this, and then they do something else, it makes me angry, and we send out the building inspector to zing in there too. But I just want you to know that we want this town to be successful. We love the small, quiet town too. We're here because we love Winchendon and because we want to see it succeed, and we want the people to try to get along.
Right.
We don't need the stuff that's going on in this world politically in this town. We need people to be friends and neighbors, to support people trying to make a living, trying to make ends meet and pay our taxes so we can, carry on our life and have, your kids grow up, and my grandchildren now grow up in a town like this. And
There's enough hate and anger in the world. We don't want that here.
there really is. So, I just felt compelled to say that because it makes me sad when
Yeah.
we have to negotiate bad
Disputes.
blood.
Right.
And if we do pass this permit, I'm gonna ask you to try to put out the peace thing and stand by your word so that they don't have to be tattling every 2 minutes in town hall, because that makes us seem the fool and them seem the bad guys and you not people of your word.
Sure.
So I'm just putting that out there too.
Sure.
let's just say it as it is, you know? So if you agree to stand by the conditions of this permit,
I agree.
be
I agree.
people of your word, don't cause these people any further anguish.
Nope.
And be respectful of the, you know, the quiet nature of the neighborhood. Anyway, maybe it's not so quiet some days. There are a lot of active families in the neighborhood. Alrighty, so, that being said, do I have a motion to, any further questions or comments? Now that I've gotten off my soapbox. Could I take a motion to close this hearing?
I will make a motion to close this hearing.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Do we have any further deliberation?
I think, should we pass, we need some contingency in there.
I think maybe, I don't know if we can have a contingency where perhaps the building inspector can go out and test the noise level, or I don't know if that's possible. Or some kind of stipulation,
We can just say it must pass the noise
yeah, must
concerns.
be within the acceptable, whatever the law is. like
Guidelines.
Decibel, how many decibels you can,
Yep.
I think that should be a stipulation in
Right.
there.
And not for nothing, I don't imagine the air compressor is gonna be running 8 hours a day,
No.
No,
ever.
ever.
No, and it wouldn't, because it would build up plenty of air to run on its
Yeah.
own.
It's not
Yeah.
designed to,
No.
the scope of the business.
What size
is-
compressor is it?
It's a stage 2 air compressor, 60 gallons.
How
Runs
many?
off- It runs off, it's a
60
60
gallons.
gallon
Okay.
tank.
All right, yeah.
So it runs off 220, so it gets built up pretty
Right.
good, and then you could use it for a very
For a
long
very
time
long
before it needs
time.
to recharge.
So hours of operation, we want to build
8
into
AM
that.
to 6 PM.
AM to
Right.
6 PM, yeah.
And
And we had no spotlights, no
no
additional
spotlights,
spotlights,
no
no signage.
signs, no.
Pickup and delivery to be off-site only. They will comply with all their insurance requirements, the commercial insurance requirements.
Comply with anything.
The work will be contained within the garage, and you will follow all state guidelines for proper disposal of waste fluids.
Correct.
Correct.
Storage and disposal of waste loads,
Storage,
please.
proper storage and disposal.
And then also, opening and shutting that garage door while you're working.
It's hot in the summertime.
I was gonna say dead of summer, like today, what do you do?
Actually, I have a big fan in there.
It's huge. It cools off the whole garage, so it's really,
Are there windows or?
there's windows.
There's
There's 3
windows.
windows.
Okay,
They're always shut.
so you don't need the door open?
No.
Correct.
So opening and closing of the garage at minimum, or just as
Sure.
needed? Okay.
Yeah, in other words, don't leave the garage door open while you're working.
Fair enough.
I think that's it.
And no employees, it would just be the two
No.
of you?
Oh, that's right.
That will be
No
running the
employees.
business?
Nope.
Okay. And you also abide by the regulations of the grant program, which you're getting the grant from?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, which is New View.
New View, yes.
And just, I want to just put insurance regulations, specifically the smoke detectors.
Fire suppression.
Yeah, CO2,
And extinguishers.
fire extinguishers.
What about the,
Well, it has to go through the fire department anyway.
I would think.
It has to be cleared through the fire department that it's a secure building.
Yeah.
So that should cover all of that.
Right, right.
He gets a
So-
permit.
Yeah, that
We put
shouldn't
fire
be-
department to inspect property upon startup?
I think that would be,
That's probably an insurance thing.
Yeah. I
They're
think
gonna
so.
do an
They'll do
insurance
that.
inspection.
Yeah, okay.
they'll force that. What about the 25%? Is the whole garage being used for this, or a portion of the garage?
No, I actually did the math. I put it in our paperwork.
It's in the
I
law.
did see that
Because that
somewhere.
garage is not listed on the assessor's card.
If you look at section C, I put the square footage of our house with the square
Yeah.
footage of the garage,
Yeah.
and did the equation at the bottom, so it's less than 25%
Okay.
of the total square footage.
But what I'm asking is the garage, is the whole garage being used for that? Is that what's the 25%? Or less than the 25%, or is it a portion of the
A
garage?
portion of the garage.
Gotcha, okay, all right.
Yeah. Sorry, I misunderstood.
So obviously try to stay in that thing in case you get a surprise inspection, you'll obviously get faulted on
Gotcha.
that, so.
All right.
Okay, so all that, I guess, and
So business to occupy 25% of garage.
I didn't catch it, but did you bring up the point of a review in 2 to 5?
yeah, to see if there's any public complaints or issues or where they're at with
Right,
moving
shall we
into the next.
review it, when did you say?
Well, he had said between, what,
2
3,
and 5.
2 to 5
2
years.
to 5 years until they get a commercial
Looking at
pop.
being able to, take the business out of there. So
So when do you think it will,
what's reasonable?
when do you think you'll start it, actually?
We're
I mean-
hoping by fall.
Okay,
If all the financing goes through, and this obviously goes through, we're hoping by fall.
okay.
October?
So do we need to put that in there? Do you want a review? Do you feel it's
So just so
necessary?
you know, too, if we approve it, you have to work on the special permit within, 3 years, or it becomes null and void. You have to make substantial progress. So,
Right.
I would like to review it after, maybe in the fall of 2023?
That's what I was thinking, I was gonna say
Yeah,
October
fall
of 2023.
Fair.
Just to get a feel for
Just a review.
butters and,
And can we waive the, it won't be an application fee, it will just be a review, so,
Yeah, so we can just add it to an agenda, because
Right.
and we don't need to advertise it, it'll just be kind of
right, it'd just be
revisiting.
an agenda item.
so from that 1 year, can we add after that 2 years, or do we just go 1, 3, 5 or something like that now
Oh,
and say that it's there?
let's do 135.
Okay.
135. Let's do 5-year. That way, I mean, not to be a pain in your necks, but maybe to be a pain in your necks. I wish we had been a pain in some other people's necks.
Sure.
And some businesses in town, but.
That's fair enough. And we want our abutters to be happy where they are as well. And it is sad that this has happened like this. And so, yeah, we want them to be happy and live peacefully as well.
Okay. All right, I think we have a strong, strong conditions.
Absolutely.
Would anyone like to, we have one more. We closed the hearing, though, sadly. We're just deliberate.
The hours and days of operation would be again? I didn't hear that.
It would be 8 to 6.
8 to 6 PM, 7 days a week. 8 AM to 6 PM, 7 days a week.
7 days a week?
7 days a week?
That's what they
It's-
asked for.
Yeah.
So we're going to review in 22, actually 23, 25, and 27.
Yes,
Yep, okay.
let's put that on an Outlook calendar.
You'll still be here.
We'll be gone, but she'll be here.
Years to be old.
Yeah, okay.
All right. The current board will hear that. There will be a board. So do I have a motion?
I will make a motion to approve the special permit with the conditions.
As stated.
Okay, do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, Mrs. Higgins?
Aye.
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 And the chair votes aye. You've got our 4 votes.
Thank you very much.
So now it's going to go to their office, and our secretary will type up the actual decision,
Okay,
and then you can go forward after the appeal period.
okay,
It's a 20-day appeal after it's signed by all members and stamped in with the town clerk.
okay,
Okay?
fair enough.
Okay.
And I'll let you know when the 20 days is up.
Okay,
All righty.
thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
And
Luck.
good luck. Good luck.
Right thing, right? So
Please do the right thing.
smooth
Yes.
sailing after
Will do.
this.
We will not disappoint you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you
for
so
coming.
much.
All righty. Is there any other business?
No?
Any other
I don't think so.
business? Anything else we need to discuss?
Nope.
In
nothing at
that
all.
case, when do you think those decisions will be written up?
I can write them up on Monday, have them ready by noon on Monday.
Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect,
ready for
'cause
your
I can
signature?
come by Monday around like 5:30 and sign
Because
them.
the town
Alright,
clerk's
I
office
can't
is
sign 'em
closed this
until-
week.
Oh,
Wait, what?
town hall's,
Town
The
clerk
town
is
clerk's
closed
office
this
is
week, so
closed
we
this
couldn't
week.
do it tomorrow. So we'll do it on Monday. So anytime after Monday, they'll be all set to sign.
okay,
You can just pop in.
alrighty.
Mhm.
And I can't come until Tuesday.
Okay,
so
I'll see you
just
Tuesday
Send us a
then.
reminder.
Yeah.
I'll send
Right,
an
Send me
right.
email.
3.
Yep, I'll send an email out.
All right, thank you very much. In that case, would I hear a motion to close the meeting?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to close the meeting.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
The chair votes aye. Thank you for coming, people.
Thank you, everybody.